All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this wonderful evening here in the beautiful state of Texas. I got my friend Mr. Kimble. I met Kimble a long time ago, it seems like, right, Kimble?
Oh yeah, seemed like forever, man.
Right, it seems like forever. So what I'm gonna do here with the podcast, folks, is I'm gonna start interviewing men that I met when I was a drug counselor at the Kyle unit. Mr. Kimball's a long he's one of the men that I met in a long string of people that I thought were phenomenal examples of how God can take people like us who experience a trash lifestyle and God uses our trash to transform us into treasure. And Kimball is just one of many men I met. And as I begin these virtual podcast sessions, I'm going to just put these men on here and have them share their lives with you so that you can see if you yourself are on paper, right? If you're on parole probation, you can see for yourself that people like Mr. Kimball and myself who did time, it's possible, man. You can get out. There's hope. You don't have to return to drugs. You don't have to return to a lifestyle of crime. You can just do the right thing. And again, tonight I'm gonna have Kimball here, share some experiences, some stories. I'm gonna ask some questions, and we're gonna rock it. So, Mr. Kimball, you ready?
Oh yeah, let's rock with it.
Okay, buddy. First of all, Kimball, tell me, how long were you locked up, buddy?
Total of 8.5, 9 months
Eight
altogether.
and a half, 9 months. So for you folks out there who've been locked up 20, 30 years, don't laugh at Kimball being locked up less than a year. Because what I've learned, just period, and I shared this with the guys a lot, that if you're locked up 6 months or 6 years, it still hurts, right, Kimball?
Right. Oh
Because as
yeah,
you and I talked a lot, brother, 6 months away from your kids is 6 months too much, brother.
it is.
It's too much.
It is.
So talk to us, man. Tell the folks out there who are listening and watching this episode. Tell them what was your time like? How did you do your time? What were some turning points for you, man? What eventually got you to just say, you know what, I'm done. God, what's up?
Well, just off the rip, it was the stress levels first, man. The depression, in and out of the courtrooms. I'm talking about before I even did my time. I was in and out of courtrooms roughly 7 months on end. 7 to 8 months on end, just in and out of the courtrooms, out of the system, man, trying to see if I can actually beat the case or buy my case, buy my time. So I lost a lot of money doing that, and also just doing that, it came to a depression of the finances start dwindling. You know, and so yeah, me personally, I had that little thing inside of my head, like, wow, was it really worth it? You know what I mean? Was it really worth it? Yeah, it's the reality of it, but the true reality came um, back in February. February 8th is when I
This year?
actually got no of 2 years ago
Okay, 2 years
of
ago. Got it.
2022 when my wife and I goes into court, and this is the final end. We came to court together, but she's leaving by herself.
Wow.
So that's the reality. So going on through them back doors. Yes, I've been in and out of the city, city and county, so that was it was like, all right, cool, I'm leaving soon. You know what I mean? I'm leaving soon.
Hmm.
But that it was still unreal to me at that point,
It didn't. You said it, it,
but
it didn't register.
nah, it didn't, because I'm instead of sitting here, within the city, like, yeah, finna make bun, but then it hits like, no, dude, you ain't got no bun. You getting ready to take your journey, you getting ready to take your trip.
Hmm.
So, a little bit of a month I spent in the city waiting on my bus, and get that bus, take it down to the Bird unit right before Houston, right outside of Houston, the Bird unit, man, and I'm talking about immediately once you get off that bus, you walk in there, need you to squat, cough, ass, but naked, you know.
Oh yeah, we know what
It's
that feels
the
like.
man, you know, it's the dehumanization of a human being, you know. But
Yep.
I understand where it was coming from, you know, just making sure that, you know, just trying to keep everybody safe, you know, to an extent, you know, but you know, you in there, you sit on this concrete slab, just booty balls, just naked. You
Yeah,
know, it is that's the reality of it. You know, you sitting there on that concrete slab naked, waiting on your clothes, man. You know, it's yeah,
it's raw,
yeah,
brother.
that was reality. You know, it was a new reality for me. You know, so you get your clothes, you waiting to get put up in your room. Waiting to get put up in your room. You get your little toothbrush, you roll of tissue, get your head shaved, you get your beard shaved, you know, and you off to it. So now you actually sitting up in your cell, and it's like, oh yes, that's the real reality of it, you know.
So
No
at this
day
point,
room, man.
hey, at this point, was this the first time that you had been separated from your family for this amount of time?
Yes, at this point, yeah,
So how did your significant other take that, brother? What was she going through?
man. So from the county to Bird, you know, coming up to them, taking me from county to Bird. They you know they wiped your they they close your case out. Well, not your case, but they closed down your commissary and all that stuff, so you can't make any phone calls. You know, so it was from my understanding what she told me, it was a bit rough on her. You know, not being able to get in contact with me, not knowing where they were shipping me off to, and me not being able to call her. So both of us was feeling each other stress and worry at that point. You
A lot
know,
of
I wasn't
uncertainty.
from right. I wasn't familiar with the bird unit. You know, so she do what she do, jump online, jump on the internet, find out that bird unit is where they house a lot of murder, you know, alleged murderers or whatnot,
Right.
death rows or whatnot. You know, and so in her head it's like, why is he there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like he's a big guy, but you know he's in the wrong place for the wrong thing. You know.
Exactly.
And so, you know, and even at this point, they still hadn't done. I mean, that's what it was. And I'm kind of happy that I didn't know that at the time that I was there, you know,
Hmm.
because I probably would have freaked out even more, you know, but just trying to be strong for myself and also for my family, you know, because we had never been apart like that. You know, me and my wife had never been apart. My kids and I, we'd never been apart. So truly just trying to keep it together for myself for the buck of it, you know. So that
Hmm.
way, whenever we were able to talk, you know, I can still have
Yes, sir.
that strong voice and that energy that I know that she'll be looking for, you know.
So speaking of being strong and whatnot, you and I both know from personal experience that incarceration does something to the mind, right? It's one thing to
Yeah,
be physically strong, but it's another thing altogether to be mentally strong.
yeah,
Incarceration tests the mind game more than it does your fists, right?
and it
So
does, man.
at what point, Mr. Kimball, did you realize what was basically the straw that broke your back? I think we had a conversation last week, and you shared something. If you don't mind recapping
Nah, I
that,
don't mind.
there was a
The
turning
thing
point for you.
the thing that got me while I was at Bird was I had ran out of toilet paper, and none of the COs, none of the officers. I have talked to the major. I have talked to the sergeant. You know, and nobody seemed to care. You know about me being out of toilet paper, man. You
Wow.
know, and I'm over here for like 16 days at this point. You know, and all I had was just that one road. So I literally had to shred my bed sheet. You know, I literally had to shred my bed sheet and wet it to clean myself. You know,
And wash it over and
and
use it again.
Oh no, I flushed it.
Okay. Oh man, you clogging
Nah,
up toilets, so you one of those. Okay.
yo, yeah, I'm one of those, man. That's like, hey, it's not none of my plumbing, you know. I don't have to pay for it. You know, and so that got me, man. You know, and just trying to talk to the CEOs with sense about the situation and how they would be so aggressive just with simple stuff such as toilet paper, dude. It's like you can either freak out catching up the case or let that build you up into being a stronger individual mentally. You know, I was learning something and I didn't know what it was I was learning. And that's the thing about that expectations of others. You know, I never understood the expectations of others. And that's what I was learning before I even learned about expectation was, it's like I'm a human being.
Right.
And never mind me, you guys think that I'm a flat out criminal. Well, yeah, I was a criminal because I had been convicted of this crime,
Mm-hmm.
but still treat me humane. You know what I
Right.
mean? Still, I'm not saying have pity, but some type of empathy towards
Right
the
on.
human being. You
Right
know what I
on.
mean? And I wasn't getting that. You know, all I wanted was some was some tissue.
I just want
You
to wipe my
know,
butt, man. Come on, help a brother out.
that's
I
it.
just
And
want
I
to. I
and
just
I
want to
wasn't
wipe my butt.
and I wasn't getting that, man. So I had to revert back to those savage ways. You know what I mean? It's like I know what I have to do to survive in here. So you guys don't want to provide me with this. You've given me stuff that I can truly use. So I'm gonna take what you've given me and use it in a way that it's going to,
To meet
and
your
in a way
needs.
it's going to help me. You know, and so that's what I did. But at that moment, I knew I never wanted to.
So yeah, so
Nah,
right there,
man.
brother, talk about that right there. So you didn't have the TP. You weren't being treated civil. You weren't being treated like a human being. Uh, how did that really hit you and point you in another direction, man? What was the process there in your head?
Well, I first had to overcome those wicked and evil thoughts in my head, man.
Okay,
Now, how did I do it? It was surely through prayer. And the
okay,
thing about I'm gonna tell you something about the Creator, man. I was in my room, I was in my cell the whole duration by myself,
no silly.
by no celly, none whatsoever. Two row E block, and dude, to see people seeing chains come in daily on the daily, you know
Come
what
and
I'm
go,
saying?
come and
And
go. Yeah,
right, and I'm in here by myself for this period of time. The reality of it is, dude, you got some stuff you need to work on.
right on, brother.
And so I'm gonna say, come probably not even within that week, I understood that and realized that it was something I myself needed to work on. And looking at that little aluminum mirror that was on the wall, trying to see myself,
One B
it was,
mirror.
yeah, it was an image that it was a blurred vision. It was a blurred vision of me, dude. It wasn't clear at all. So no,
Holy preach, man.
I didn't like what I saw in front of me, and
It was
understanding the type of mirror that I had. You know what I mean? I didn't like that, and so I knew that in my head, and I'm trying to gather myself mentally while I'm here in this place. It's like, dude, you can lash out at these guards, but what is it truly doing for you,
hmm,
other than making your stay just that much more longer? You say you don't want to be here, so dude, I'm literally praying all day, all day, all night to give you an hour in a little sunroom, dude. I wasn't even taking that hour, man. I
right.
wasn't. I fasted full 15 days that I was there, just flat out. Yes,
Wow.
yes. The full 15 days I was there, I fast, man. and just gathering my head and understanding that I can't control these people's in here, man. I can't make these people do or give me what it is that I feel like I ought to have. I can't make these people talk to me, man. So I had to find it within myself and talk to myself, prepare my mind for what was coming because I don't know what's coming. I don't know what this journey is going to be ahead. You know what I mean? Because I've never been this far. You know what I'm saying? But I knew if I wanted to make it out, I had to better myself in my thought process.
Right on.
So those guards not giving me the toiletries that I needed, and me not being able to make commissary because once again my stuff isn't active. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there
Right.
long enough for my stuff to even get active. So I just asked that I prayed and I asked that your will be done. I'm here to do your will. And
Let me jump in, man, because there's something that you said that you didn't share with me last week, and I want to provide some commentary for our viewers. You mentioned looking into this raggedy wannabe mirror,
yes,
right? And man, I know you know where I'm going with this, bro. But there's something about that wannabe mirror that distorted your image,
yes,
right?
yes.
It wasn't a true mirror, yet at the same time, in some sense, it symbolized who you were at that point.
A bloody mess, man.
A bloody mess for me too. So anyone who's done time, you know that them prison mirrors, that them jail mirrors are garbage, man. But
Yeah,
as I'm sharing with Brother Kimbo, they symbolize who you really are on the inside. They can't provide you with an accurate representation of who you're supposed to be, but they
right.
show you who you are, bloody,
Absolutely.
messed up, distorted. I really wanted to share that with the viewers, man, because uh, as you know, Blueprints for the Ministries, we focus a lot on the image of God, right? And when you took the class, and we'll get to that here in a minute, I focused a lot on what is the image of God and how have we allowed that image to be distorted through our upbringings, our cultural beliefs, and whatnot. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So now you you saw that messed up image. You didn't get your toilet paper. You were being treated uncivil, and you said, "You know what? I'm done." All right. You catch chain. You go to the Kyle unit, and what happens at Kyle? Give me a rundown real quick.
Man, quick rundown.
All right.
Quick rundown of the cow. It was totally different than being at the bird.
Air
Totally
conditioning, first
different.
of all, right?
Oh yes, air
Air
conditioning
conditioning.
first and foremost. The metal bed didn't change though.
And the food was better.
Oh yes, the food was. Oh
Love,
man,
bro. It was
like
love. I remember. Y'all always talked
it,
about, man, the food good here.
man, dude. Yeah, yeah. The food was on point. Basically because you had one yours truly in the kitchen. But
Already.
But
Oh
man,
man.
so I was at the cow unit, man. I was in H part to buckle my stay,
Oof.
and I wasn't there to make friends or to become friendly with anybody, but my celly, man, my celly.
Yeah, no names mentioned. I remember him.
No, I'm
No
not.
names mentioned.
I'm not gonna mention any names, man.
Yeah,
But
let's be respectful
you,
here.
it was some. You have your count going on. They come in a little bit before midnight, sometimes after midnight to do the little head count. And once again, dude, I got to pray again. Said I had to
Mm-hmm.
pray again that that whatever happens, it stays with this individual. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, sir.
they don't come in here trying to barricade and spray everybody in this place. You know what I mean? But the H unit, I kept to myself, man. H part, I kept to myself, and I tried to keep to myself. People tried to come show themselves friendly. I would conversate, but then I would go back into my shell because once again, I knew that this wasn't my life. That wasn't my life. Yeah, I was there for a purpose, and the sole purpose of that was to focus on me. I remember the first ATP treatment that we had, right? And so it kept asking, it was asking,
ATP treatment, for the record, folks, is when we're short staffed or something happens, counselors weren't going into the dorm to conduct group. Instead, the clients, the residents, were given a piece of paper with four assignments, one assignment per hour. So there we go. Go ahead, Kimball.
right. And
That's
so
ATP.
on this particular ATP package, it was asking about drinking, and it's like, I don't drink, so no, I'm not alcoholic,
Hmm.
So do you see yourself as a social drinker? It's like, no, ooh, none of that, no, no, no. So I ran through it, you know what I mean? Literally ran through it. And so later on that evening, after group and everything was over with, I ended up calling my wife, let her know, hey man, we just had our first ATP treatment, just had our first session. And so she was like, so how did it go? It's like, man, I ran through that stuff, you know? And so she was like, what do you mean you ran through it? I was like, dude, because it's talking about alcohol, and I don't drink. She was like, but babe, hold on. Just pump
Uh
your
oh.
brakes.
Okay.
Pump your brakes. And my wife is an educator, okay? Um, and she always seems to go a little deeper than just what's on the surface level, okay? And
Okay.
so her thing was, maybe it's not just talking about the alcohol. You have to go a little deeper. So you smoke weed. It's like, yeah, I smoke. She was like, okay, so you have to imply that to the question that's being asked. And
Substitute
so
it.
yeah, you have to substitute it. And then so she went farther on to let me know that, baby, this thing is only going to work if you truly put the work into it. So
Amen.
although you may not be an alcoholic, there are things that you do. So just don't focus on the alcohol portion of it, but put what substance it was that you was using and apply it to you. And so, dude, I did that, and my answers went from quick yes no answers to full
Okay.
outright essays. You
Okay.
know, full
Okay
outright
then.
essays, man. And
Get
this
it right
like,
then.
now I'm digging into my life of what
Amen.
my issues are, you know. And so we go farther on into group, and we're um, talking more about just baggage, just carrying on baggage that's not ours, And so now I have to go dig again, like, what is it that I'm, what is it that I'm carrying that's not none of mine? And this all happened at the cow unit, man, And so I'm digging to see what baggage it was of that I was carrying that didn't belong to me. And dude, when I say, oh my goodness, oh my dude,
Find some
we
good stuff,
as
huh?
yeah, 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 a lot of good stuff, And once you accept what it is that you have in your life and the baggage that's not yours, and you're truly able to let it go, then you be able to grow, not just physically, but more mentally.
Yes, sir.
Your mind isn't as clouded. You're not passing. Me personally, I wasn't able to pass so much quick judgment because of the stuff that I was letting go. That didn't belongs to me, man. But
Nice.
then you had the politics that started happening within each block, and it's like you can't run from it. You can't hide from it because it's definitely going to find you. And so prayers goes up again, dude. I'm talking about, dude. I spent a lot of time in there praying, and I can truly say whether I manifested it within. A lot of my prayers was answered while I was on the inside, man.
Amen.
I must say, because I got up out of H pod. It moved all the way down
I
to another
remember.
wing, and dude, it was beautiful. Like, it
Yeah,
was
I
beautiful.
remember when you moved. So let me throw something in there because I want to talk real briefly about the nature of a drug treatment program. This may have been your first one, second one. I've heard stories about other treatment programs. You folks who are listening, remember I was a substance abuse counselor at the Cal unit. I worked the program. I was dealing with probation officers, parole officers, doing one-on-one sessions. I took a lot of pride and joy in counseling men like Mr. Kimble. But Kimble, let's be real. The drug treatment program uh, had a lot of missed opportunities, right? Let's be generous here. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things that the program could have done better, and there was always concerns and grievances about, MTC or TDC or drug treatment programs in general, and it was easy for staff and clients to point the finger at the inconsistencies or the inadequacies or the insufficiencies of the program. But even though the Kyle program wasn't up to par, so to speak,
right.
you still found a way to get your act together. What's your
Yeah, and
message? What's your message about that? Talk about that,
I'm
brother.
my message is this right here, man. And and you told me to keep it, you know, pretty decent. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so what you're talking about,
Family friendly audience.
we also had it happen over on the other wing that I was moved to,
The
okay?
B wing.
Right. And so, I just because one of the guys came to me, I just let him know. I said, you know what, Ru, I'm gonna put it to you like this: when you get out back into the free world, the real world, you're not gonna have these counselors.
Hmm.
You're not gonna have you're not gonna have the peoples in here out there. So you have to hold yourself accountable, you
Amen.
know. So if people is coming with ATP treatment plans or whatnot, dude, still do it. You
Work
know,
that.
if that's all you have, work that. If they giving it to you three, four, five, six times, do it three, four, five, six times. And I like to put it like this. I me personally, I saw it like this because I did a few ATP treatments that we had already done just the time that I was there, But you're going to always find something. That's like that movie that you watch. You watch it again. Oh, I didn't catch that the first time.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
didn't catch that the second and third time. And it's going to be that same way whenever you're doing those self evaluations, dude. If you want help and you really want help, you're going to make it work for you. In
That's it.
spite of the counselors, in spite of who's coming there, in spite of who's there and who's not there. If you want to make it work, you're going to make it work, dude. Over in B Pod, we had guys come together and start doing NAAA meetings. That wasn't sought up by any counselors over there.
Yeah, we weren't
The
doing that.
guys took the initiative because they wanted to change their life around. You know what I
Amen.
mean? So they took initiative. Hey, so at the group, we're going to do these NAA meetings from 5:30 to 6. This is what we're going to do. All right. And then after that, we're going to come back together and we're going to eat lunch together. And we're going to talk about more stuff to try to help us once we get out into this free world. You have to want to change. If you're not going to want that change there now, you're going to find whatever little grain of sand that's in your boot or in your shoes. They say that, hey, it's making my feet hurt. I can't
Hmm.
walk because I got sand in my boots. Dust it off and keep on going. But if you like me, got hard feet, dude, that grain of sand ain't gonna matter to you. You're gonna keep on trucking because you won't change.
So speaking of change, let's segue. Let's use that to segue into another portion of our episode here. Blueprints for Living Ministries. I was teaching it there at the Cal unit for a year. I taught and graduated 7 classes. As I put this episode to air, I'm going to flash pictures of the classes here for our viewers to see. Talk to me about the Blueprints class that we offered there, that I offered there on my free time, man. How did you hear about it? Tell that story.
Oh man. Um Coming into the Cal unit, like I say, the politics.
Yeah, I
The
wrote a whole
politics,
book on it,
man.
brother. I wrote a whole book
You
on it.
got the guys that's there that's working the system. You're not gonna know that they're working the system, but they're working the system. And those type of peoples you want to get all you can from them. So they're like, hey, dude, it's this blueprint class, it's this this other way of living class, this meditation class. You take all the information. It's the budgeting class, the family class. Take all the information, man. Take all the information. You don't have to indulge in those politics to get that information that's being given to you. So one of the individuals like, dude, you might like this blueprint class. I was like, all right, cool. So you got to talking about what it was about, woo woo, and I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. Yeah, I'll take it. You got to talk to me about some old class. I'm like, cool, sure. I don't mind. I'll do that too, just to pass time.
Right.
And
Another
you
certificate
may,
to look good on paper.
true, that's true. And even with you just taking it just to be taking it, you're going to learn something. You can go in there, arms folded all you want, even nod here and there. But dude,
Hmm.
I guarantee you, you're going to learn something because something is going to touch you. Because those blueprint classes are so real and so full of life. Like, and I'm not just saying that because of you,
I
but
understand.
dude, you really brought that thing to life. You know what I mean? And made me take notes.
Yeah.
What you personally didn't make me take notes, but just what you were saying, I took notes on it because I wanted to carry it on out into the free world with me. I
So
wanted
speaking
to
of
be able
notes,
to
man.
live by it.
Okay, that right there. That's where I'm going. What were some of the things that were given to you in the blueprints class that resonated, stuck with you, and you're now able to apply now that you're out here?
Definitely just the your mainstream topics, design of God's design.
Mm, okay.
I'm not trying to be the creator, none whatsoever, but I am trying to walk in his image. And I think you did a class on that,
Yes, sir.
and that's what it was, because, all right, yeah, I smoke weed, I pop pills, then I would drink social, very, very sociably, but dude, man, it was just so much of me in the world more than what I actually knew of. You know what I'm saying? I was truly in the world. And so even with having kids and having a family, trying to raise a family, you can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to be
Yeah,
all in. You
that's
know what I
right.
mean? And so taking that class, I understood that more so than anything else. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, so I'm doing this, but would I like the creator to do me that type of way? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Have 1 foot on one hand on my heart and the other hand just out just waving in the wind? Nah, I wouldn't like that too much, man. If you're going to walk with me, I want you to walk with me all the way, not halfway and then you off somewhere and I don't even know where you at and can't even get in contact with you. Nah, that wasn't cool. Not at all. That blueprint and Isaiah, it came from the book of Isaiah. You read from the book of Isaiah about it's being a bloody mess. You know
Ooh, the bloody
that
mess.
that more so, like I say, like I told you in the what you call dude, I walk with that one every day. Not only was my life a bloody mess, my thought pattern was a bloody mess more so. You know what I mean? Just flat
Amen.
out.
So let me
And
let me let
once
me
you
share. Let me share. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up your thought.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So
You
what
good?
what I want to you guys who are watching this episode, whether whether you're kin to Kimball or not, or you did time with Kimball or you've never done time, the bloody mess concept that he's referring to, I was teaching a class there in the blueprints, and I went over Isaiah 64:6, where the prophet Isaiah uh, writes and records on the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. God is telling us through the prophet that all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. And so I got into the Hebrew, and the Hebrew phrase rags, bloody, filthy rags, is a menstrual cloth. In the Hebrew, it's a menstrual cloth. So translated into our time, a menstrual cloth is a Kotex or a tampon. And I began to share with the men the literal menstrual process, how women ovulate and what happens during their monthly periods. And I highlighted I believe, very profoundly that that a period When a woman experiences a period, it's the product of life not happening.
Right.
It's the product of life not happening. The body is getting ready to conceive, and when conception doesn't take place, a chemical is released from the brain to the body, and the woman releases her uteral lining, right? And that
Right.
becomes the period. So I told the men essentially what the prophet is telling us is that all of our lives, no matter how good we think we are, we're just a bloody kotex. We're just a bloody mess. And as Mr. Kimble is sharing with you guys right now, that concept very much illustrates how off we are from God, no matter how good we think we are. Right, Kimble?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So the bloody
And
mess got you.
it did. It did. And like I said, it just for me, it showed just how unstable my mind was, my thoughts, you know. And I understand that thoughts, that's something that we don't have control over. But to act out on them, we have all the control in the world over that.
I
So I
like to think
had,
about the idea of a tree, right?
hmm
You can't stop the birds from flying around the tree, but you can stop them from making a nest.
that part.
And thoughts are like that. Thoughts are all
Absolutely.
over the place. Can't
Absolutely.
stop they're all over but you can stop them from taking root.
R- Absolutely. Absolutely. So you know exactly where I was going with that, man.
Amen,
You
brother.
know, and so I had to get a hold of it. You know, I had to get a hold of it. And I don't want that. So just try to push it out. You know, don't it's not beneficial for me, so just push it out, you know, and replace it. A lot of people want
Amen.
to know, how do you replace it? I mean, it's for me, it's still a working process because I'm still working on replacing it. But my replacement goes back into just going through my memory bank, finding something happy, an enjoyable moment that I had, you know, and try to focus on that for a whole second, you know, to
Amen.
just be able to push past that raggedness, you know. And so far, it has worked. You know, it truly has worked.
So you've been out how long, brother?
Year now.
Been out a year?
Yep, a
Again,
year
congratulations,
and
man.
a year and 2 months. Thank you.
Awesome. So talk to us now as we wind up our session here, brother. Talk to us. You've been out a year. What are some challenges, man, that you encountered and or are encountering, and what is your process for overcoming and not relapsing? Share some stories. Share an example.
Well, first off, first off, I want to say this first off. Your support, man. Your support. You're not going to, and I don't. If you have done it on your own, I mean, praises to you. You know, but support you that support. You need to have a strong structural support. You know, my support team, beautiful. Like I
Amen.
don't, I there's no way I couldn't have done it without my support team, just flat out. Um, the challenges, they're going to come, you know, but it's up to you as the individual not to give up and understanding that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so
Hey,
whether it's meth, whether it's coke, the fentanyl, whatever it may be, you know, just ask yourself, is it conducive for what it is that I have going on in the long run? How is it going to make me progress in the long run? And don't be more so like, well, it's going to help me stay woke. No, get you some rest. You know, get your rest. We don't need that to stay woke. I mean, just flat out, we all have to sleep. You know, jobs are going to be something that's not going to be as easy to come by unless you just got a plug like that, you know. But don't get discouraged, you know, truly. Um, Lean on your support, but don't lay on your support. If that makes any sense.
Say that again.
Lean on your support, but don't lay on your support.
I
You
like
know.
that. Break that down, dude. I know what it means, but break that down.
So in other words, what I'm saying is, okay. So the job hunt, finances, whatever, is getting rough. And you like, perfect example. I'm gonna use me for instance, okay? My um, my father passed earlier part of the year. My brother passed this summer. Okay, two guys in my life that I love dearly. That was close to my heart, part of my support team. So when my brother passed, it was like I wanted to smoke to just let my body just lay. You know what I'm saying? Just become lax. But I talked to the queen of my support system. You know, had a conversation, I heard her, I laid on her, I cried, and I got back up
Amen.
because it wasn't worth it. And even though at this point I'm still doing drug tests every week, calling the hotline every day, seeing a probation officer every 2 weeks, oh, I was going to get caught if I had it, it wasn't worth it. Honestly, it wasn't. So what I'm saying is, if I had a laid on my support during that time, dude, I couldn't have heard what it was that she had to say to me. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And with me laying on her, that means I'm suffocating her and not allowing my support to truly help me. But if I just lean up against him, he's walking, I'm walking, we're both walking together, and as a team, we can make this thing work. And it's just like a relationship, in my opinion, you know? And with my support, we're truly walking through this thing without a safety net. Because if I fall, guess what, dude? I'm going to fall,
Mm-hmm.
but and no one is there to catch me, because we all understand what's at stake here,
Yeah. It kind of
so
reminds me of uh, where regarding the hand ups versus the handouts idea. If you are a victim, right? If you have the
hmm
victim mindset, you don't want the hand up. You want the handouts. Gimme,
right,
gimme, 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 gimme.
right,
Right. But if you have the victor mindset, you have the overcomer mindset, then you just want the hand up. And look, man, I
yeah,
just got out. I don't got a job. I don't got nothing. Help me get up.
yeah.
Help me get up, and let's do this together.
So I had this guy. We went in for a job interview, right? And the guy that was interviewing me would say, "Yeah," he said, "Man, I got three questions for you." And I said, "Okay, shoot." He said, "The first question is, when's the last time you asked for help?" And I looked that man in his face, just as you and I sitting across from each other right now. And I said, "Man, right now is I'm asking you for help."
Wow.
I said, "Man, I'm a felon. I just got out September of last year. I need a job." That man looked at me and I swore, man, his eyes had got buck and they started glistening. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow, this
Really?
dude is straight. You seriously? It's like, yeah, seriously. So he said, "You know what? I don't even want to ask you the other two questions.
Wow.
So just sign this paper for this background check, and I'm gonna try to go ahead on to get you in."
Wonderful.
So I said that to say this as well too. For those people that are coming out and you're watching this, man, is nothing to be ashamed about. Hold on. Be ashamed enough that you don't do it again.
Good.
Okay? Be ashamed enough that you don't do it again. But when it comes to getting back out in this world, and you're trying to get a job because they have something that you want, let them know up front. Although they may say no, this company may say no, that company may say no, it's just not meant to be at the current moment.
Yeah.
But remember that you are where you're supposed to be. You're on the right track. You are where you're supposed to be. And you're going to meet who you're supposed to meet when you're supposed to meet them.
Man. Focus on your freedom. Focus on your responsibilities. and everything else just kind of falls into place.
And it will. Just don't give up and don't get discouraged, man. I ain't saying that is everything is going to be peaches and cream or huge supreme pizza. Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to take dedication and some hard work, man. And just don't give up. Don't
Awesome.
give
Kimbo,
up.
man, thank you,
I'm
brother.
fighting
Thank you
every day.
for, hey, I'm fighting too. I've been out here almost 9 years. I'm still fighting. So if I'm fighting 9 years, you still gonna be fighting too.
Oh yeah.
Brother, man, thank you again for accepting the invitation to come onto my virtual podcast studio session here, man. I'm gonna keep doing a lot of these because I really believe that your story will resonate with somebody. I really believe that what God is doing in your life, uh, pre incarceration, during your incarceration, and post incarceration, like God's doing something, man. He's not done. He won't be done because we're gonna fall, we're gonna fail, but we need to keep on getting up and moving. I just want to thank you, man, personally, for not going back. You have plenty of opportunities to lash out and do stupid things and just be another number, man. But you're fighting
Right.
against that, bro. And I just want to thank you for doing that, man. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. You're
And
welcome.
as
You're
always,
welcome.
man, reach out to me, man. You want to talk? You know I'm here for you, brother.
Always. I know you are.
Okay. So
Trust me.
one last word to our viewers, man. What's one last thing you want to tell them? How are you gonna close out?
I'm gonna close it out like this right here, man. Truly just don't give in.
Amen.
Truly don't give in. You know, we all have a past. But the thing about it is, do you want to repeat your past? That's the question. Do you want to repeat your past?
Amen.
Especially if it was a bad one. Me personally, I'm not trying to repeat mine. I'm trying strongly to move ahead like the locomotive. Just
Amen.
flat out.
Don't
You
look
know,
back. Keep moving forward, man.
keep moving forward. Have you ever seen side mirrors on a train?
You sure
I
don't.
don't think you have. I
Keep
don't
on
think you
going,
have.
man. All right, Kimbo,
But
man, brother. Thank you, man. That's awesome.
yeah, that's man. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Never give
All right,
up.
man.
Don't stop.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining. We'll get you on again pretty soon. God bless you, man. You have a good evening, man.
Likewise, you the same.